saying that last Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, getting weird on a Wednesday. Let's get gay. Don't be homophobic. Don't trip over it, bro. Just let it slip. Maybe just the tip for a second or two. Let me get inside of you. Maybe you will like it too. Ooh. You didn't like it, now you're running from something. Maybe your past runs so fast. Maybe in a cast. Ooh. All right, enough of this. Enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Listen, did I know the muse was gonna send me down that rabbit hole, which happens to be the asshole? Bars. We messed up the sound effect. Bars. We didn't know we were gonna go down that rabbit hole on a Wednesday. Anybody new who was just checking out this podcast, they just tuned the fuck out. They're like, oh, it's one of these. It's one of these. Listen, sometimes the muse just says, hey, Evan, guess what? You're tasting the rainbow today, all right? And I just gotta go, ahoy, matey. And I just gotta get on there and ride the skittle. You know what I'm saying? Let the little diddle do its daddle. Bars, all right, ladies and gentlemen. But can we be honest for a second? That song, it kind of had something to it. There's something in there. I gotta dig, okay? I just feel it. The muse puts her head or her hand on my head. He does whatever, had a stroke. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday. I hope you're doing good. Hump day, baby. Hump day. Insert a generic meme about getting through Wednesday. Right her, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? If I'm going to be honest with you guys, I open up a little bit. Wednesday is my reset day, if you will. Middle of the week. Okay? I kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Mainly on just output and stand-up. If I don't have a show on a Wednesday, I'm taking the night off. Why? Because your boy will hit it hard. You know, I hit it a few spots Monday, a couple spots Tuesdays. Wednesday, recover, do a lot of writing. Then Thursday, I hit it again. And then if I have a show, do it Friday. And then anything booked on the weekend, we keep it moving, pimping. But Wednesday is the international day where Evan just says, we're pumping the brakes a little bit, okay? Just in that arena, it's good to kind of have a divide. Today, going to get some Longhorn Cafe, baby. Listen, Longhorn Cafe in New Braunfels. Listen, if you're in the Texas area, you go to Longhorn Cafe. You tell them Evan sent you. You get that big and tasty cheeseburger combo. Add the bacon. You're welcome. All right. Phenomenal burger. It's a phenomenal burger. But you know what it is? It has everything it needs. Sometimes people get too crazy with a burger of what they want it to be. Let it be a burger. You know how they say there's like 75 genders now? Or whatever it is? Quit trying to make so many goddamn burgers. You know what I think it is? People get lazy. And you think, well, it sounds more creative to make a goddamn jalapeno, Buffalo Bill, blue cheese crumble, barbecue, whiskey barbecue. I'm going to throw up if I see one more goddamn whiskey barbecue onion ring burger on a menu somewhere. Talking to you, Red Robin. Fuck you. Okay? Listen. It's lazy because what you don't want to do is you don't want to compete at a high level. You remember those people who were like, you're playing tag as a kid or something like that? Very basic rule set. So to succeed at it, you have to be very good. You have to dial in all the settings of where you hide, where, you have to know the arena. It's limited, okay? Some people don't like to do that. They're like, well, that's hard. No, I'm freeze tag. No, I'm not it. You can't touch me. No, you have to touch me in the arm only. They do that bullshit, or they start playing freeze tag and they're like, no, but I'm only frozen for 5 seconds. But you touch my clothes. They start adding on this bullshit and you're like, dude, you can't compete with the rule set we have. You're fucking gone. Okay? And that's what people do with burgers. All right? That long-winded metaphor that didn't really make sense. People get too fucking crazy with a burger. 99% of what happens with a burger goes down in how you season the patty. And a lot of that has to do with the thickness of a patty. And here is something that I've realized in my travelings of being a burger connoisseur. Because if there's something I actually might be more of than a wing connoisseur, is a burger connoisseur. I used to think that a very thick patty was a better burger. But the truth is, a thinner patty is great. It's great. You can get a double burger on there, but the thinner patty allows for the structural dynamic intensity of all the flavors to hit you at the same time. You get a little too crazy. I used to make these burgers at home. I would make quarter pounders. I had a little thing that I would make the ground beef from scratch, everything. It's all in the flavor of the ground beef. You got to get good shit. All right? Don't get any lean ground beef. Okay? You got to get some fat in there. Hold it all together. But also you're going to deal with a lot of smoke if you're using like a Traeger, all right? But listen, I don't want to bore you guys who aren't interested in how I make my burgers or the type of burgers I like. But it's got to be a balance of what's going on in there, okay? It comes down to the bun. You got a nice little egg bun. Maybe some sesame seeds in that bun. You got to have a nice piece of lettuce. Are you a shredded lettuce kind of establishment? Are you a grilled onions establishment? Pickles, tomatoes, mayo, ketchup. Maybe you have a spread. That's kind of where I top out. And obviously a slice of cheese. You're American, put a slice of cheese on your burger, okay? We go to a burger shop and we sit down and you go, I'd like a burger. And they said, do you want cheese on that? If you say no, you should probably just say no to this whole experience. Get the fuck back in your car and drive back to fucking China, you goddamn communist, okay? And listen, that's no attack on China, okay? I love Chinese people. That's an attack on the communism that is destroying the people of China, okay? I stand with the protests. Freedom, liberty, fucking give it to them, all right? Stop Asian hate. Chinese government, stop hating on your own people, okay? If a nuke hits the podcast studio, just know it was because of that, people, okay? Hitting a fucking nuclear. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say in here, but we're moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Evan gets himself canceled on his own podcast when he was doing the editing and censoring, and he didn't want to edit this out because he didn't have the time. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, but listen. Or you can go to communist Russia. Take your pick. A great burger. As far as you want to get with it, it's just the craziest you can get with a burger is going to be just if you have your own custom spread. I'll engage with that. I'll entertain that idea of, okay, you guys got like an aioli sauce or something, some kind of spread that I put on here. You got like a Thousand Island? Yeah, I'll give you that. But you want to start adding some fucking onion rings. You want to get wonky with your whiskey barbecue? A jalapeno burger? Listen, I love jalapeno bacon. I'll eat jalapenos. I'll eat them on the side of a burger. But don't give me the choice, okay? Don't cook a bunch of them. I've even had portobello mushroom on a burger. Wasn't really my thing, all right? Blue cheese crumbles, I'm good with it. Pickle, I'm good with it, all right? But that's what makes a great burger, is just really dialing in the basics. Get the fuck out of here with all the other bullshit. Because what it is when you get some crazy elaborate burger like the nacho cheeseburger, everything's dialed in at a 70%. And they just want to trick you with it being a novelty. We've got a bunch of extra bullshit in here, so that makes it better. Just give me a 90 to 95 of everything else. A burger is a burger, okay? And just give me some good fries. Is that too much to ask? Big debate. Waffle fries versus regular fries. I think it depends. I think a good old-fashioned steak fry might beat a waffle fry. But a waffle fry, that might beat out a regular thin fry. But a crinkle cut, now that's a different story. It's endless. And that's the great thing about everything in life. It comes down to what you want, what you're in the mood for, what kind of person you are. You a crinkle cut? You a waffle fry guy? Or lady? Or any other of the 75 genders? Is there really 75 genders? I have to Google this because I actually heard it last night in a stand-up set. And I was like, oh, 58. There's a list of 58 genders. All right, okay, let's just go through a little bit. I wasn't planning on this. We're just gonna dip our toe, okay? We're gonna observe this. There's agender, androgynous, no, androgynous, sorry, homeschooled reading level, bigender, cisgender. Okay, listen, I feel like a 75-year-old man that doesn't understand how to use a Game Boy. That's where I'm at in my life, because I just don't know what the difference between cis and cisgender is, then cis female, then cis male, and then cis man and cis woman. All right, now we're just getting Mrs. Fields on it, trying to make a cookie stretch. Someone over here was like, give me a list of 58 gender options. And the person was like, I only know 54. They're like, well, you better figure it out. So they're like, cis male and cis man, cis female, cis woman. And then there's a cisgender female and a cisgender male. And then there's a cisgender man and a cisgender woman. What, did the cat in the hat write this list? And then there's female to male. And then there's gender fluid, gender non-conforming, gender questioning. All right, this is cool. Because you could just be like, I don't know. What are you? It's uncharted. All right? No one really knows. You remember when you'd be watching Pokemon as a kid? And it'd show you before it went to commercial? Who's that Pokemon? Question mark. I don't know. Is it a Pikachu? Is it a Bulbasaur? Is it a cis male or a cis man? I don't know. Gender queer. And are these just, okay, so gender queer is different than queer, okay? I know I'm making so many people nervous right now, like as if they're watching me on a tightrope, and I love it. Fucking pressure makes diamonds, and we're getting canceled, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm actually just trying to get educated, okay? I'm doing my part. Are you? Quite offensive of you. Anyway. Neither. So you can choose to be neither. Okay. Neutros. Okay. Non-binary. I've heard that one. Pangender. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one too. Trans fats. Oh, no, trans female. Sorry. There's trans with an asterisk next to it as a whole different thing. Trans female, trans asterisk female. Okay, I need to get a professional in here. Okay. Whoa! At the very bottom of the list, it says two-spirit. Two-spirit. Well, you Casper? Well, you got some Casper going on? Well, you a friendly ghost? You a friendly man ghost or friendly male ghost? Are you a friendly, fluid, non-conforming, questioning variant ghost spirit? Who knows? Who knows? Now, this has all been very educational, all right? I had no idea this was all a thing, and I need to do some research because, you know what? Education is key, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, and here's the thing. Here's the reality of the situation. Life is confusing. I wish it's just, identifying as anything is confusing. And I get the tribalism of a lot of stuff. And if people want to be whatever they want, I have no fucking problem. Just be a nice person. Okay? Be a nice human if you want to identify as that. If you want to identify as a furry, cool. If some dude comes around and he identifies as a dog, cool, man. You can drink some water out of a bowl, but don't you dare try to fuck Beowulf. Tell you right now, you try to fuck my dog, I'm fucking you up. You want to identify as a dog, listen, you're going to have all the consequences that come with it. See, I shoot a person for fucking my dog, I'm probably going to jail. I shoot a dog for trying to fuck my dog, they're going to throw me a goddamn parade. Okay? It is what it is. We all choose our own life, okay? At the end of the day. Oh, man. I am interested in what this two-spirit is, so we need to Google it. Two-spirit. I got two-spirit. Two-spirit definition. Two-spirit refers to a person who identifies as both masculine and a feminine spirit. Aw, it has nothing to do with ghosts. I thought it was like a Ghostbuster term. When you're just like out there and you catch a couple, you're like, I'm going for a two-spirit. Two-spirit. Stupid, Evan. Okay, I thought that was different. It's more like I get why people are confused because there's so many different ways to identify something. Especially you want to confuse someone, ask them if they're a transgender male or a transgender man. I don't know what it is. Can I be transmasculine or transfeminine? I think I'm both, if I'm honest with you. I think I'm masculine and feminine, you know? Sometimes you want to go out there and chop wood and just live your life, and then sometimes you're like, I don't want to get my feet dirty. I want a nice foot rub, you know? I actually haven't had a foot rub in years. I remember one time I went, I want to say it was in high school, maybe. I got dragged to a pedicure place with a bunch of girls that were on a swim team. And the Asian lady there, lovely people, started like giving me a pedicure and everything. All the girls, they think it's like funny in high school. The thing is now, if I just had extra money to blow, you know, I was just like, money wasn't a thing to me, I would be going and getting pedicures and manicure. Why not? They feel great. Okay? Treat yourself. Okay? I would be doing it every couple weeks. Just give me a mani and a pedi. Like, when I get fuck you money, I think that's something I'm going to do. Where it's just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired of these cuticles, pa. Shape them up for me, you know? Put my feet in a little thing. Maybe get the ones where they have those little minnows in there. And they like, beep, 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 on your feet. I'm all here for it, you know? But I went in high school and this Asian lady was massaging my legs. Like my feet were in the thing and then they put like this cream or something on my legs and she was like massaging them. It was warm water. She was so good. And then I was just like, whew, like it felt so good. And I let that sound out and she goes, and you like? And she's massaging my legs and she's literally, I realized she's jacking off my leg. And she's doing it in a sexual way now, where she's going up and down and like working the pipe. And I'm like, oh, wow. I do like, but I'm a high school guy and what you're doing right now is a little too much for me right now. You know, like it was like maybe she had a different trade and was just like, I do this during the day. Okay. That's all I'm saying. And that's not stereotype. That's nothing like that. All I'm saying is that you ever seen like in a movie where there's a secret badass guy who's working at just like a factory that has nothing to do with weapons training, but then he's like working and someone throws a knife, like something flies off the shelf and he just goes, and he has like crazy reflexes and catches it and it's just like, and then puts it away and everybody's like, whoa. And then everybody's like, I think he's a secret assassin. That's what this lady was. Has nothing to do with who she was. It was purely the action. And we're canceled, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on. Moving on from all this. This has been anybody who is sweating watching this. We're moving on. All right, the damage has been done. But about the burger thing, I'm thinking of starting a thing. I have this goal. I want to try every single burger in Texas. Every single famous burger. Like, I want to hit all the top spots. So if you know spots in Texas, I want to go try the burger there. And I'm going to start filming it. I'm going to start putting out some videos of going to these food establishments and trying their burger. I don't know how they'll feel about it, but I'm going to give it a whirl. Okay, we're going to get it all on film, and I'm going to make these into some smaller videos. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be starting a new thing with this podcast. I'm going to start putting out stories on Sundays or Monday mornings and Wednesday or Tuesday nights. Very confusing. Asking questions for the podcast. If someone has a topic, you can submit it. I'm not going to repost the questions I'm not going to repost the questions on stories, but I want to get people's topic ideas and questions that you might have for the podcast, and I'll go over them in the episode. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, starting on you can DM me them now, but starting on Sunday night or Monday morning, I'm going to start posting for questions. I don't know if I'm going to add people's names in them, but I will ask them on the podcast. I will answer them, and we'll turn it into a segment, okay? Because I love you guys. Listen, I get reached out to about the podcast, and it feels so good. I'm someone who struggles with compliments. Listen, last night, had a decent set. Girl comes up to me after. Oh, it was so funny, great set. She puts out her hand like this. Like she's going to give me, like, have you ever seen from Predator when he goes, Dylan, you son of a bitch. And they slap hands in like a bicep way. And it's like that. She puts that out and I go, oh, thank you. And she puts that out. But I'm like, it was a weird move. And then I went in for the dab, gave her the shoulder check. Boom, dab. Awkward. Felt uncomfortable. Didn't sleep right. Okay. But I don't know what the whole point of that was. People listen to the podcast. Thank you. Whenever anybody reaches out and tells me that they like the podcast and they're enjoying it, or it's helping them get through washing dishes. Here's the thing. There's got to be at least one person who's listening right now washing dishes. And you would be very surprised the amount of people who wash dishes while listening to this podcast. It's quite amusing because I've had probably at least 5 to 10 people reach out telling me that it helps get them through the dishes. Hey, little house on the prairie, get a dishwasher. What are you, Amish? You living with the Amish out there? You shun electricity? It is relaxing though. Get the bubbles going and everything. Nothing like getting a good scrub going. Getting a very dirty plate, like with spaghetti sauce on it, and you just fucking run through it. Just something calming and satisfying about it. So I completely go back on my stance on washing dishes. And it gives you an opportunity to listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts the same way. When I have tasks that I have to do that don't really require a lot of brain power, I just carry on my wayward son, getting carried through the podcast, if you know what I'm saying. So I have 2 questions this week that I pulled that people have responded to stories asking me. Now, it wasn't geared for the podcast, but I thought these would be good to kickstart the podcast. And obviously, not every question is not going to make the podcast because your boy gets weird DMs. I get the kind of thing like, hey, do you like your salad tossed? And I'm like, what are we talking here? Vinaigrette, blue cheese. That's how I usually respond to that. And then some people are just like, nah, I mean getting your ass eaten. You stay get your ass eat, stay get your ass eat. You know what I'm saying? Bars. Anyway, question number 1. And this is something I want to answer because it's like, dude, no, nothing like it really seems. Why don't you have stage fright? I had someone ask me that. And then they ask, how are you calm? And I think this is a complete illusion. And this is why I wanted to talk about this one. Nothing is ever as it seems. People think that it's like, especially when I first started doing stand-up, People would think I was calm on stage and I was completely comfortable. The truth was, in the beginning doing stand-up, I was terrified. Terrified. A lot of times, I would talk myself out of going to open mics or, before a show. I would have to keep going over my set and going over notes just to give me the confidence and preparation to know, like, I'm not going to forget my shit up there. Because that's the worst. There's times I've blanked on stage, and that's when it's like, ugh. But the more you do it, you're able, even if you blank, to be like, all right, well, I just forgot that fucking joke. And then you just move on. You can get yourself out of these holes. But to answer why I don't have stage fright, that's not true at all. I do have stage fright. I do feel anxiety. I feel nerves. I feel uncomfortable with public speaking. But the thing is, and this might be a thing for everybody who does public speaking, is it's just right before. It's right before, or depending on the environment, or earlier in the day, the night before. But the way I alleviate it is by being prepared. Sometimes it's unavoidable because you want to try new material and stuff like that, and it's just, you have to go through that awkwardness. But usually what relieves it is once I'm on stage and I get a first laugh, it kind of just goes, whew, it kind of leaves, because I'm like, okay, here we are again. And it's just repetition. And that's how I stay calm, is just repetition. The more you do something over and over and over again, the easier it becomes. That's kind of why I do a lot of sets, is just to get calm. Be okay with silence. That's like something that, because I was like something during the pandemic where I kind of was wondering, I was like, man, can I even do stand-up anymore? I don't know what it's going to feel like being in front of a crowd. How am I going to react? Like, am I going to be nervous? Do I start over? And it's something that and then I went through a period of, once I was starting to do sets again, I had all these bad habits where, and I wasn't completely comfortable. And then with doing more repetitions, it starts calming down. And it's just, you get back to a baseline where you're just like, okay, I can do this. And you can focus. So, do I have stage fright? Yes, I have stage fright. How am I calm? By just making sure the material is solid, making sure that I prepare and I'm ready and I'm focused. Because on the flip side, if you're not nervous, and that's how I look at it, is if you're someone who deals with anxiety or social anxiety, I joke about it a lot, but I was homeschooled, and with that, it means that you don't have a lot of social interactions, at least the same amount as a normal kid. Obviously, I did sports and stuff like that. And that gives you some level of social interactions, and you acquire skills like that. But that's something that I would have with social interactions. I didn't like being the new kid. I didn't like this and that. And, every time you kind of move to a new place, like even moving to Texas, there's like social anxiety of like, I don't know anybody here. Everybody's already friends and all of that. So you have to kind of go through it. So like, I think stage fright and everything like that is just the fear of the unknown. And that's like the social anxiety thing as well, is, anybody who is having like those issues with public speaking or getting outside of your comfort zone, I look at those now, like all I did was change my perspective. And anytime I feel that, if I get that feeling in my stomach before a set or a show or something, the crowd's laughing, the comic's doing great in front of me, I get excited and that's what I taught myself. Because early on, I would always just be like, fuck, like what if I don't do good? What if this turns and I'm like, this pressure on me and everything? And I just go, no, dude. All this means is that you're doing something that matters. Would you rather be home on the couch right now watching TV in this comfort bubble? Or are you proud because you're doing something that makes you uncomfortable? And no matter what, whether you fail or you do good, putting yourself in that uncomfortable place is going to make you grow as a person. That's the real shit. That's like anything, and like people have asked me, like, I want to do comp or stand up. I want to try it, blah, blah, blah. What should I do? I've been working on this. And just go on stage. Just start doing it. Just do it. It doesn't matter. Don't try to have your first set be the greatest set ever. Everybody wants that. Your ego wants to be like, yeah, I did great my first time. Cool. Whatever you're trying to do, just do it. If you want to go to a gym, if you want to try boxing, jiu-jitsu, I don't know why I always use my shit as examples. No matter what it is, if you want to do fucking finger painting, build birdhouses, just go. Be terrible at it. And I think that's the secret. It's just being terrible at something and you get through it. All right? Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Evan Lopez, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins. That's the Mount Everest of motivational podcasts. That's it. And the guy from The Wolf of Wall Street. And this is one that we'll end on. And this is, I hate necessarily talking about this, but I've gotten this multiple times. And some people, there's a stance on it. And some people, I wonder if it's virtue signaling. Obviously, a lot of virtue signaling. I see people go on stage and be like, yeah, you guys need to do this. This is going to get the podcast flagged. Listen, our stories already got flagged on Instagram. Engagement dropped a lot. It sucks, but it is what it is right now. And I hope all this weird limiting and restrictions on social media goes away because it's dangerous. It's a weird world we're living in right now, where if anybody has any opinions that are different than what people want as the narrative and what they deem as important and the number one goal, it's a totalitarian, I believe is the word I'm looking for, way of doing things and shutting down opposition. It's very dangerous, no matter if you're on the side that you believe in what is right or what you believe is what is wrong with the narrative right now. The question was, are you getting vaccinated? For what, bitch? For what? Don't just assume that I know what vaccine you're talking about, okay? But to answer this, I first want to say, I do not care if someone wants to get vaccinated. I think there's a weird thing about having a stance if you see someone wearing a mask out in public. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Do whatever you want. And I live in Texas where that's kind of like a mindset. Obviously not in like downtown Austin, but overall there's a mindset of like, we need to make everybody, responsible for themselves. Am I getting vaccinated? The way things are right now, no. I don't know enough about the vaccine. There is no repercussions for a vaccine side effect. Obviously, me having a fiance, her getting vaccinated when there are certain things coming up about the vaccine and affecting women differently, it makes you nervous. And it's all risk versus reward. There's a lot of people say that they follow the science without, they contradict following the science with their stance on it. Because I just look at risk versus reward with everything in life. If you're someone who has pre-existing conditions and you're in a situation where the risk is worth the reward, 100% go for it. Make that choice for yourself. And that's what it kind of comes down to, is making the choice for yourself. With the current survival rating and the way things are and, not being FDA approved. And honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, when people start pushing things on me and they start trying to use guilt and fear mongering and panic, it does something to me where I push back and I just go, just because the way you're saying this makes me not want to do it. I've never seen something where it was a good idea, but then you try, like if I was going to buy a car, they're like, hey, well, this car is great. And if you buy it, I'll enter you in this raffle to win $1 million. You'll get a free box of Krispy Kreme donuts. And I'm like, wait, why isn't it good enough to sell on your own? Why are you trying to push it on me like this? It just gets weird. That metaphor fell apart at the end, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's a weird place that we're in with the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's really weird, and I'm trying to be different about it. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be understanding of why people feel the way that they feel. I think it's dangerous when we start seeing a lot of social media censorship. I've had multiple friends now post these things that where they just posted about anything that goes against, vaccines, or at least questioning, isn't this supposed to be my choice? Their account gets suspended for 30 days. Can you imagine, and that's what's crazy, is if Trump was president and this was happening, there would be protesting and rioting. It just so happens that the team that a lot of people on social media were rooting for is the one in power right now. But if all this kind of restrictions and limiting and censorship on social media becomes regular, it's going to flip back the other direction once the agenda changes. And it's crazy that you sound like a conspiracy spirit. A conspiracy spirit. I'm a two-spirit person. And one of those spirits is a conspiracy theorist, okay? Conspiracy Casper, all right? That's what this segment is called. The semi-friendly ghost, all right? It's going to flip back the other way. And it's crazy that you do sound like a conspiracy theorist whenever you use the word agenda and control. But I think we start blurring lines on what is actual terrorism, violence, and censorship, and acts of violence. When you start looking at what needs to be censored, and when it's like vaccines is where censorship comes in and completely shutting down people's freedom of speech. And they say it's for the greater good. There's been a lot of scary people in history that have made claims about it being for the greater good. It's scary. It is. Hi, welcome to Evan's Fear-Mongering Podcast, where it started out funny and got real dark. Real dark. But that's just how I feel about it, is that it gets real weird because we can't pretend social media is just memes anymore. It's very powerful. Movements happen, laws change, and the world changes because of it. Social media is pretty much a utility now for people to be able to voice their opinions and to express themselves. And it's a weird way people get pushed to the fringe. And that's what's dangerous. And we do it to each other. You don't agree with this? Well, you're a racist. You're a Trump supporter. You're a this. If you're not something on this side, if you don't agree with me 100%, then you're 100% on that side. I had a lot of people during the election be like, oh, so you're a Trump supporter because you don't agree 100% with Biden being president. And I'm like, no, fuck all these old men out here. But just because, but there has to be a reasonable place in the middle, It's just crazy. And I think it's important, to remember we all United States of America. All right? We all need to love each other. We need to come together. Kumbaya. Vaccinated, unvaccinated. Just be good to each other. Be happy. Be nice to everyone. I think that's really how you have a strong community and tribe, and be like, hey, you might believe some different stuff than me. I could be wrong about it. Things that I believe in, you could be wrong with it, but we're good people. We're nice to each other. And at the end of the day, we probably all just want to flourish and be happy, laugh, love, live, whatever the fuck white people say in the kitchen. But we just need more of that, Take care of yourself. Do less things that don't help you, All this super simple. Maybe get some sleep. Get a regular workout schedule. Eat healthy. Eat burgers only once a week. That's what I do. That's what I do. But best believe I don't miss it. There's never a week where I'm like, I'm not having a burger this week. Grow up, Peter Pan. All right. I think that's the key, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave you on that note. Just be good to people, man. Don't hold grudges. Don't be bitter. Let shit go. Grow from it. Understand that people probably making things against you, they got their own demons, their own world that they're fighting with, you know? It's probably not really against you. Go outside, smell some dogs, and play with flowers. Bars, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for listening. If you stuck around through this whole thing, I appreciate you. I love you. I know, listen, it ain't easy being breezy, huh? But if you stuck around listening to this podcast, it means so much to me. I love you guys. I will see you Monday. Clips coming out on YouTube. If you don't want to watch the whole things, or you want to, catch the compilation of this episode, check it out on YouTube. If you haven't liked, comment, subscribe, go do it on YouTube. We're only having new content coming out on the YouTubes. But I love you guys. And I miss you. And I'll see you Monday.